Welcome to the Why Ukraine live stream. Please let me know if I sound okay. It's quite a day. It's been quite a week. I'm angry that I have to. I'm angry that I have to sully my live stream with discussion of this guy. I understand that there's like 5 other live streams happening at this point. You know, I'm just lucky I have power. I have no idea why I have power. It was supposed to have been shut off. Normally, that's what would happen here in Ukraine. Day to day this week, we don't know from 1 hour to the next if we're going to have power. Thank you, everyone. Wow, you're all of a sudden appearing. It's amazing. But today I did something I haven't done in a long time, and that is video editing, because I felt like I had something really important to say. And thank you all for coming. Herb, Robert, I don't think I've seen you in a while, or it's great. Michelle, Mitch, it wasn't me. So this may be a slightly controversial title. I completely understand that. There we go. That looks better. Yeah, so a slightly controversial title today, and slightly controversial video. KKSGG, thanks for coming. Oh, YouTube notifications worked. Well, it's probably because I changed it. You guys know I was supposed to have a live stream yesterday, and it was just impossible, really. And like I said, at any moment I could get cut off. I do have battery power, so hopefully I'll be able to switch everything over and come back on before the stream disconnects. So if that happens, please stay with me. The revolution will not be televised, I guess. So I made a video today, and I'm going to share it with you. Please let me know if the sound works. If you're going to shoot at the king, best not miss. JP Vanek, thanks for coming. And make no mistake. Can everyone hear that? Oh, okay, Robert. Well, you have something to say now. Welcome. Did everybody hear the sound on that okay? I'm going to try it again and let me know. Best not miss. And make... No. I'll try it one more time. How about now? If you're going to shoot at the king, best not miss. And make no mistake, the great orange one is now king. Biden is president. Trump is a king. That is how history will remember this moment in time 1,000 years from now. Keep in mind, kings were once also elected in many cultures. Time and again throughout history, men once sought to be elected as king. Once. Because once a king is elected, the next one is not. That is the end of democracy. And that is where we are now, at the end of democracy, looking down over the precipice. Democracy is being assaulted from all sides, within and without. Those assaulting our democracies are most especially the ones claiming to save it. But look carefully at their words. They claim they would save the people, the pure of blood, the culture, the moral values, not the actual system of democracy we have, or any future one. This speaks to where we are as citizens of democracies. Whether in America, Italy, France, among others, the largest voting bloc is always the lockstep, right-wing, moral majority. Note the important words: moral majority, right-wing. Even those terms speak to the values inherent in the people who espouse them. Being right, being moral, according to their definition. Not being free, not having rights. So why does this problem continue to exist? Why are democracies constantly under threat, their existence so tenuous? Try to remember, Western democracy as we know it is still a new thing in the scope of history. We think that just because we've had it for 100 or 200 years, that it is unassailable now. Most citizens, if they could be called that, think of democratic government as a given, a fading, ubiquitous background, like modern plumbing, or perhaps the internet. You take it for granted. And just like your plumbing or internet, nobody thinks about how it all works until everything goes to shit. So what keeps causing this problem? Education. Education. As a teacher, I posit that as long as our system of education raises children in 12 years of dictatorship, our democracies will ultimately fall into dictatorship themselves. An educated citizenry is a vital requisite for our survival as a free people. I would delineate these terms, educated citizenry, because citizenry must be taught and citizenship practiced. This is not the case in Western education. Our Western system of education was created in an anathema to democracy. When oligarch industrialists needed minimally skilled wage slaves for the neo-feudal empires we call corporations. It is only by chance that education led some to seek greater rights by realizing such rights are possible. Speaking as a professional educator, schools must be democratic in nature, with children given maximum control over their own educations. Have, for example, a weekly school meeting following Robert's Rules of Order. One person, one vote. And together, teachers and students with full agency can govern their own futures. Because in the modern classroom, the teacher is a dictator. And the teacher's dictator is the principal or director. There is no democracy inherent in our schools, and children learn, most of all, not from what they are taught, but how. You learn to live under totalitarian dictatorship for most of your childhood, and you subconsciously seek to recreate that environment as an adult. You don't think about it, just because it's what you're used to, like an old shoe. It stinks, but it fits pretty good. Most of you are right now indignant at the idea of children being given control over their own education, and certainly don't see how it's connected to the troubles of democracies today. They'll just play around and never learn anything. It'll be like Lord of the Flies. I hear you saying this. Lord of the Flies was a satire of exactly your assumptions. And nearly the same thing was said 200 years ago about adults' self-governance. Those peasants can't govern. It'll be anarchy. In fact, your indignance is a convoluted internalized reaction to the deprivation of rights you experienced as a child, continuing the cycle of abuse. You weren't allowed freedom or control. You rebelled by doing as little as possible or being actively abusive yourself. You were so tightly wrapped up in it, you can't see anything else as possible. Certainly not true democracy. Much like people in Russia or China right now. Russians don't have freedom, so why should anyone else? 80% of Americans are barely aware of politics or fundamentally repulsed by it. Why? because they were taught to do so. Maybe their school had a student council, which was a joke. And that was their only direct experience with self-governance until they turned 18. Why don't young people vote at the same percentage as older ones? Because they were taught that it doesn't matter, that their opinions don't make a difference. Why should we expect young people to suddenly become citizens of their democracies? And now the former president has repeated thousands of times that the elections are rigged, which means they matter just about as much as your high school student government. People of all ages now no longer believe in our system of government. Again, this is because A, they have no experience with it, B, they don't know how it works, and C, they don't believe they can make a difference anyway. But there is one vote and one voter who can, and that is a voter with a gun. And he placed his vote for Trump. He was either the best marksman or the very worst. Oh, great. Now he's a hero. That was my first reaction to Trump being shot. Because now he can really play his Mein Kampf persecuted martyr game. I'm just like Teddy Roosevelt, he'll say. A true Republican. Many people will be enraptured. It's a miracle. It was God's will. Praise Jesus. He'll be like a rock star now. He'll say, JFK was a loser. He couldn't even survive a headshot. And everyone will laugh. And whether or not he wins, there will be civil war to some degree or another. We've been headed this way for a while. If he wins, he and his allies will try to impose a Handmaid's Tale religious dictatorship a la Project 2025, and people will resist. Or he will lose, and the 25% of Americans who worship him as a false prophet, savior, God, emperor will say, we are justified in violence because you liberals fired the first shot. You probably think my ideas are crazy. And I hope I am wrong about our collective situation. But at the other end of this, whatever comes, when everything else has failed, maybe you can try some democracy in education and just see what happens. Thanks for bearing with me, you guys. I know those of you who already saw this, maybe you don't need to see it again. But it was actually my first time watching it all the way through on YouTube. So I wanted to see it. Also, something very strange on my live stream right now. I can't type in my chat, in my own chat. Somehow I'm Herb, yeah, it's too soon. So yeah, guys, this is not what I wanted to talk about, obviously. I didn't want to talk about what I have to talk about today. Thanks, Mitch. Thank you, Bill. I'm glad you liked it. Maybe it's strange that my reaction to an assassination attempt on this guy was, we need better schools. What's really funny is that YouTube would not allow me to monetize wouldn't allow me to monetize the video. Like, what in the video, other than just the basic fact? Oh, yeah, Cheryl, yeah, I know about the click all messages thing, but I'm actually I'm speaking about in Restream. So in my software, I can test it. Yeah, I can type from Thanks, Robert. I'm glad you're still here. As you can see, I can type from YouTube, from the YouTube side, but not within my own software. And so I would have to exit the stream and reload it. God knows what kind of problems that would cause. But thank you, Michelle. I'm glad. I don't know. What do you guys think? What I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. It's been such a crazy week. I mean, I had other news and stuff, lined up. The F-16s are coming. The hospital. The oh, James is getting testy. Well, I have been extraordinarily hot. I mean, it's crazy hot here. The power situation is crazy, and it's very difficult to be functional. Is I guess what I would say. Yeah. So Michelle, when it happened, I thought it was a false flag. Yeah, a lot of people did. A lot of people did, for sure. And I think that a lot of people are still thinking that. I agree with Jonathan, ATP Geopolitics. I don't think that it was a false flag. It's interesting that the guy was apparently a Republican. Yeah, there you go, Robert. I agree. Wait a week and then see what the situation is. The main thing that I am concerned about, the main thing that I'm concerned about is that now he's a freaking hero. Now everybody's going to say, he's like Ronald Reagan and Teddy Roosevelt, and just exactly what I said in the video. That guy, whatever his name is, I heard it earlier today. I don't remember, and I don't care. If he thought he was helping, he wasn't. He wasn't. Exactly what I said in the video. He voted. He voted for Trump. People laughed when I said I was getting my the county. This is good. People laughed when I said I was getting my political asylum papers ready. How about now? Yeah. What does this mean for Ukraine? This, I think. I mean, I think that's everybody. That's going to be everyone's concern here, and it just. Any step towards Trump getting elected is a step towards, Ukraine. I would not say being defeated, but having some really, really, really tough times. Absolutely, really tough times. That's the thing to understand, that these online guys talking about, oh, we have to make peace, and these Russian shills. Ukraine's not going to back down. Ukraine's not going to stop fighting. Yeah, thank you, Michelle. It makes me sick too. I have to get rid of it. I have to switch it off. I can't look at it. I'd rather look at this. Even this is awful too. Guys, I'm sorry. Today's not a happy stream. Let me give you something to be happy about. Okay. Right here I have Elizabeth, Jeremy, and April. Helen, that's Richard and Helen. Ken, that's UTV and Ham. Eric, Belle, that's you, and Betty, Kathy R. in Florida, Heather Ross, our own Paul Gilbert, of course, and Philippe. I hope he watches. I know he usually watches later. And Mikkel from Denmark. If you guys are all getting stuff very soon, I have the receipts and packing slips from. Oh, it was such a trauma at the with the heat, and then the power shut off at the post office, the Ukrainian post office. But finally now everything is going to be on its way, and I could not be happier. Oh, shit. One person I was not able to send their stuff to, Paul will win. We have another raffle coming up, and it's not just this raffle. We have a t-shirt raffle. I've just delayed it because things have just been crazy here. So you have plenty of time to, it's been 2 weeks now. It's a sub raffle within this existing raffle. Where was I? Guys, this might have to be, let's see, it wasn't me. Let's see. James, as a European, I have problems with the idea that more people will vote for this guy because he got shot at. Yeah, me too. I have a problem with it too. I mean, I think a lot of people have thought about it and then realized it's a dumb idea, because what happens if you miss? I mean, aside from the fact that it's morally wrong and not just that, but Trump getting shot, live or die, is incredibly destructive to our democracy, to American democracy and democracy all over the world, because America is supposed to be the leader of democracy in the world. And I know we've had presidents be shot, and I think 4 previously, and presidential candidates, and it was horrible. So this, I don't know. I just, it is what it is. And we're in the mix of it now. It's going to be a long time. I mean, the Supreme Court ruling. Okay, was it last week? God, so many things happened last week. I can't even keep track. The Supreme Court ruling last week. Against, well, the two rulings, right? Supreme Court rulings on presidential immunity, right? And the Chevron decision on Chevron deference. If you guys don't know what that's about, what that is, there's a lot of, I've shared some videos over the past week. I haven't, had power, but I've been able to at least share as much information on my, on my community tab as I could. Good God, why did I click on this? Like, I want to pay to read the Orange County Register. Ridiculous. Chevron and immunity, yeah. Anyone got nails? Oh man, Mr. Squiggle, why? Why are you asking? Yeah, Cheryl, right. Exactly. He's like Jesus on the cross. So, there we are. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm delaying because I really only have these 2 topics today, and I don't want to talk about my next topic. But I have to. I have to. I have to talk about this. Basically, you guys know we are doing a raffle, and to buy a truck for an International Legion unit. And that is a medical evacuation truck. And so I'm not allowed to say. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say. I don't know. I don't know what's OPSEC anymore. So I have to be careful. But I'm going to share with you these pictures, and some of them I've shared before, and some of them you guys know. Some of these people, like what was, I can't remember her call sign, but you've met some of these in our videos. And then I'm going to read you something. I'm going to read you some things about what's really going on out there. Here's what I would say about it. Maybe this is here's where I want to start. You guys know that, you know, there's been this frontline area. I keep saying it all the time. Okay, I keep saying it all the time. That just because some, you know, oh, it's getting reported there's attacks in Volchansk, you know, and they're winning or they're losing in Volchansk, and you've got stuff happening wherever you hear about it. There's, you know, Gerdes is a big deal that we've talked about. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff happening out there on the front line that doesn't get talked about. That doesn't show. I don't know. It just doesn't make the news. Doesn't make the media for whatever reason. You know. Mr. Squiggle, JD Vance. Yeah, he's an American politician. He's the guy with the eye patch, isn't he? Isn't he the guy? He's a big pro-Trump guy. He did come to Ukraine, and didn't have the guts to say how he really felt about Ukraine, kind of. But yeah, okay. Let's focus on this. I'm going to focus on this. You guys can talk about what you want. Just understand that there's stuff we have known, and I know that it's been reported that Ukraine had to take things, you know, units and materiel and armor off the front line to go up here and defend Volchansk. And I guess I was kind of hoping that Ukraine wasn't going to have to pay the price for that. But they have, and we have. We have. Because down here in this general area, I will say, on the Zaporizhia front, Their units that got pulled off here and went up to fill in the gaps up in Vovchansk. They left holes and gaps down here in, for example, Velika Novosilka or Orikhiv area, Vuhledar, and those things. And this past month has been when Russia has pushed the highest, the greatest, the most that it has this whole war, throwing everything they can at it. They don't care how many of their soldiers die, and they're doing that because they know that the American and EU weapons and arms are coming, and they're trying to get as much in as they possibly can before the Ukrainian units are fully replenished. And that means that some of our guys have been hit really hard. So, in the company, well, we had 3 platoons. Blank is down to 4 people. Now, you guys know how big a platoon is, right? Yeah. Let's just Google it. How big is a Ukrainian platoon? Doesn't say. Not easily. But let's say 40, 50 people. Okay. 3 platoons makes a company. So a company could be as much as like 300 if I'm not mistaken. But usually at least 100. Yeah, it's more than 4 people, Michelle. So in the company, well, we had 3 platoons, and 1 is down to 4 people. 2, company 2, let's say, has 10 left, and they all got injured and want to go home. 3 has no one left but the drone team, which is 1 person right now. Another company, blank, was wiped out. And another blank has about 12 people left. The whole battalion is being fucked right now. They sent us in to blank to buy time to build defense, knowing there was no chance for us. It was bodies for time. So we got sent on missions that Ukraine units would not do due to not having the equipment to properly execute. Us having less equipment got sent in just to keep the Russians busy so a 3rd trench would be built. We were transferred to be attached to a new battalion, the blank, then started getting fucked. New officers that never been on the front and only have about 2 years of war theory. There's been talk about getting another batch. They don't want them to even get training from the blank. Maybe about a week of training in the unit and send them to the front. Guys, the only person in the unit that we're fundraising for that I know is alive is this guy with the cat right here. I'm not. I'm afraid that I'm afraid that I buried this in my stream, hoping that nobody would see it. To be honest with you, this is why I wanted to wait. I don't want anybody to see it, but I have to. I have to tell it. Who else is going to say? Who else is going to tell what's really going on out there? I don't care. I don't care. You know, if I'm breaking OPSEC or something, or I'm doing something wrong, I'll delete all this part out of the video. But there's a whole other part I didn't read you, though. Well, no, it wasn't read. It was told to me. I mean, basically, they lost so many guys, you guys, that there was one unit. The unit started refusing orders because they were just beyond combat ineffective. And like there was one unit that the leader, squad leader, or whatever, he was shell shocked in some kind of way, but he couldn't make his squad go out, run out however many kilometers into the thick of things and save another unit that was injured and also combat ineffective. He couldn't, or he didn't. And so more people died. To be honest, if they'd had a freaking truck, a simple shitty ass truck, this wouldn't have happened. I didn't know what the fuck's going on out there, to be honest. So just, we're talking about Americans. Okay, we're not talking about Ukrainians. We're talking about Americans. We're talking about Brits. We're talking about people from your countries. And nobody in America knows about this. No, I don't know about if you guys, if you're, in Great Britain or other countries, if you are aware. I don't think most people are even aware that I don't think that most people are even aware that people from their own country are serving. I don't think they know. Or maybe they think it's like one or two here or there, or they're like professionals, like professional mercenaries. These guys are not professional mercenaries. They're freaking, plumbers and just regular guys who just believe, just like each and every one of you watching, except for the Russians who watch my streams. Most of them don't make it this far. They're just normal people, and some of them had a minimum modicum of training, and yet they're willing to throw their lives down for your freedom and all of ours, really. And so, you know, this is all I have to say. So I'm not saying, let me be clear, I'm not saying that the guys you're looking at here are the guys who are involved in the situation that I just described. I can't say that. And I'm not, I don't know, maybe everything I just read to you is just made up. You know, just forget about it. Yeah? How about that? And you know what, though? I got to tell you, I'm going to join them. I'm going to join them. I was in talks over this past week with this unit that I'm describing to you. They were looking for new people, and I've been trying to join them. And I am. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. Okay. Unfortunately, I will say my physical training is going great. Really, really well. I'm paying out of pocket for it, and you know, it's cost me like, it's 500 grivnas per session, which was like $10 or something, $12, something like that. And I unfortunately I had to tell they wanted, if I was going to join the unit, they said, well, you have to go back through the whole training all over again. We can try and fast track you, but you know, and I was like, well, I just can't quite do it yet. I'm getting closer, but I'm not there yet. Thank God for physical therapy, though. Jesus Christ, it's amazing. Bell, has there been any chatter about contractors from the U.S.? F-16s, yeah, to Ukraine. So we hear that the F-16s are already on their way. That's my understanding. This is what I have read and seen reported. Ukraine hopes to receive 6 F-16 jets this summer and 20 by year's end. Well, the summer's pretty, you know, we're pretty far into the summer now. So, you know, I'm hearing that the F-16s are on their way. I believe that the contractors will come with the F-16s. That's my suspicion, but that's my own chatter, and I'm totally just guessing on that. This news, Ukraine's president's office states Ukraine did not reject Gripen fighter jets. It's my understanding that kind of something along the same lines. The Gripens are coming, but Ukraine wants to, and this is reasonable. I don't think it's correct, but it's reasonable that Ukraine wants to, you know, get these F-16s and get their fighters, their pilots trained. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Michelle. It is summer. Only 6? Yeah. I think that Ukraine is going to really have their hands full with keeping these F-16s maintained and repaired and all of that, even with all the contractors hopefully coming. And they probably said something like, hey, let us get the F-16s down first, and then we'll take the Gripens, okay? I really think that if that is what happened, that was bad. I think, personally, I think that Ukraine should have taken Gripens first. I mean, yeah, okay, there's a lot more F-16s than Gripens, but I think they could have gotten the Gripens here faster. They could have gotten trained up on the Gripens faster, and they're going to end up being better for Ukraine. That's it, on a per unit basis. What F-16s has is that they have a large volume of them. But if we're only talking about 6, then, oh yeah, Mitch, that's very interesting. I'm pretty sure it is America blocking the Gripens. Yeah. You know, I mean, we know that America is blocking Ukraine getting into NATO. We know that America is blocking long-range missiles, not just American long-range missiles. Okay, not just they're blocking. This is crazy, right? They're blocking Great Britain from allowing Ukraine to use British long-range missiles. Stupid with a capital stew. Really and truly. You know? So Zelensky generally satisfied with the results of NATO summit in Washington. I think at this point, he doesn't look generally, I know it's a stock photo, but he doesn't look generally satisfied there. Yeah, Mitch, remember fall 22? Yeah, I do remember fall of 22 quite well. Oh, Cheryl, that makes sense. F-16s were agreed to first because Sweden wasn't in NATO. I mean, I guess I'm not sure how that's connected. I mean, I can kind of see it. So, I mean, he's generally satisfied. But what else is he going to say? You know, he's really better than last time, I guess. You know, the last NATO summit. Yeah, KK's GG. That's a good point. When this war is over, decades from now, when info is declassified, I think people are going to learn some unflattering things about the USA and likely some other countries. Yeah. Oh, Cheryl, I don't believe the USA is blocking Gripens. Ukraine just got the French Mirages first. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I mean, I just send them all the things for sure. But Herb, I agree. This I don't understand. How can one country prevent another from allowing their weapons to be used? No sense at all. Well, I would agree with you. But this is being reported on like Ukraine the Latest, okay, and others, that it seems as though, you know, these are all kind of discussions happening under the water, you know, and I don't know, guys. I'm concerned about this peace summit. Why is Ukraine pushing to hold a second peace summit before the end of the year? Like, I was expecting it to be like this time next year. Why do they want to have another peace summit before the end of the year? The inference or suspicion is that they want to, I mean, I hate to say it, but the issue is Trump. And, you know, if Trump goes, let's say in November, let's say the worst happens and he does get elected, and he immediately goes and talks to Putin, whether it's through Orban or whatever, and then talks to Zelensky and says, all right, you know, January 20th, I'm cutting you off. Ukraine has to have some kind of something to counter, ironically, to counter against the United States. That's what we're looking at, guys. The potential that, you know, due to this idiot, some idiot with a gun. I mean, I know that, you know, it was close margins to begin with. But now with this, hey, Leathercat, thanks for coming. I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood. I want to thank everybody who's here today. Martin, thank you for coming. Thanks for listening to me rant and rave. Sitting here in Ukraine, I know that you guys are just as frustrated, but okay. Herb as well. How can one country negotiate terms that the country doesn't agree with and have it be binding? Well, that is a good point. Dimitru, thanks for coming. How can one country negotiate terms that the country doesn't agree with and have it be binding? Well, it's money. That's basically what it is. It's you know, they're saying U.S. has levers it can pull with money, both with Ukraine and with Russia and with Great Britain. Yeah, U.S. telling Russia they can. Now, Ukraine's not going to agree to that. Okay, it just means that this war is going to go on and on and on. Ukraine is not going to stop fighting, even if Zelensky declares peace. I swear to God, if he tries to declare peace with Russia in any way that gives up any Ukrainian ground, 10 minutes. I give him 10 minutes to leave the office, obviously. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. That's well, thank you for thanking me. I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Yeah, Leathercat, I'm really glad you were watching Rick's Azov Rally stream. I guess it was later on in the day or something. I was so busy working on my new video and trying to not die in this heat. Belle, thank you. Thank you very much for coming, and look for your stuff very soon in the mail. Yeah, KK's GG. The problem with assurances with scorpions is that they are subject to the whims of the scorpion. The parable of the scorpion crossing the river on the fox. I don't remember that parable. Is it Aesop? Yeah, sure. There you go. Trump did that to Afghanistan at Doha. Made an agreement with the Taliban without the Afghan government. Yeah. Hey, Silver Earth. How you doing? It's all right. You're late. I was just telling everybody I have your the receipt here from and the customs declaration for your stuff in the bag here. I put yours and right, holy oblation. Wait, no, that's Salt. Oh no, it's the other one. Okay, I'm mixed up. God, I can't keep track of everyone's names. They're like real. I have real names over here, and then you have your fake names. So I apologize if I get those things mixed up. Wow. Okay. Isa. Oh wait. Hey, you're a member again. Come back to the Discord. You know you're still in here. Maggie, Nadine, Shayna, KKSGG. Thank you so much. Oh. Yeah. So, guys, it's going to be kind of a short stream today, but there's one last thing, and I hate to talk about it. I hate it. Hate to talk about it. And I almost decided not to, but listen. All I can say is, oh, thanks, Mitch. It's worth going back to watch the first part of this stream, in my opinion. Yeah, everything went downhill after about the first 10 minutes, to be honest. But thanks everyone who's here. I hate to talk about this, but look, I'm not gonna mention names at all. I understand that, like, summer and it's hot, and we've had some really awful things happen the past couple of weeks that hit us all really hard. And I wrote a big thing about it, and I'm just going to say it again. Don't attack each other. When you see people making mistakes, when you see people doing the wrong thing, try to remember who the real enemy is. And I'm going to make that mistake too. I'm not always going to, I'm not trying to be high or mighty here. But at least before you, I understand when you're sitting on your phone, or on your computer, and you see something that really pisses you off. It's worse. It's worse when someone close to you, someone who you thought was on your side, appears to not be. But just try to withhold judgment. And there we are. Normalna. That's the sign that I need to wrap things up, guys. As you can hear, my power is beeping. And I just lost connectivity. I had to... Yeah, sometimes I come back after a minute, Keith. That's right. Pausing for effect, yes. I lost power because, it's here. I'm here in Ukraine. But we had power for like 2 extra hours today, so I'm happy about that. Thank you, you guys, for welcoming me back. But that is a sign that I'm going to have to wrap it up here. I just want to reinforce to you that, when we all have these raw nerves and all this crazy crap is happening, just, I don't know, count to 10. That's not very effective. Just try to withhold judgment on the people who are potentially on our side. Don't just assume, and I'm speaking about various, kerfuffles that have happened recently. And there we go, Michelle. Be kind. Be kind. Because in this fucked up world that we're suddenly living in, as I said, true evil is upon us and is in stark relief. And when we tear each other apart, that evil prospers. There we go, Petra. Sit on your hands. Yeah. Talk to somebody, maybe. Talk to somebody about it. But don't just go on, type it out, then press delete instead of send. Yeah, sometimes, Silver Earth. I know that I'm going to, at some point, I'm going to flip out and I'm going to violate what I'm saying right now. And it's probably going to be on a day like today when it's freaking hot as hell and I have no air conditioning and I'm in some, trench or shithole. And I want you guys to remind me of what I'm saying right now. So, yeah, KK's GG. Yeah, it was a difficult stream and important, and you guys made me feel a little bit better. So thank you for that. And if you can donate to Ukraine either through me, I'm still gonna buy a car for Alpha Company of the 1st Battalion. Still gonna do it. However many of them are left. And we're still gonna support them however we can. And I'm not even placing blame on potentially the, Ukrainian generals or commanders who were in charge of, the battalion that they were attached to. Because everybody was stuck in this place, and it was the Russians causing the problem, And we can talk about Starsky and we can talk about Sodol and this and that, but in this case, I think it was just the real enemy. Again, the real enemy is before us and not inside of us. Yeah, August heat, Cheryl. Thank you. Yeah, be kind and patient with yourself, especially. That's the hardest. That's the most difficult for me. Hello, Oksana. So, and Maria Bankston, I just saw you there. Good job coming. You guys are doing great. You guys are helping Ukraine right now. Just by being here, just, We can't do everything all the time. We just have to do what we can do. So, with that, Slava Ukraine. Wish me luck until the electricity comes back on.